like, damn, why I didn't like this game back then. This
Yo,
shit is so fun.
Yo, what is going on, everybody? It is Saturday night, and you know what that means. Next podcast is live. Huge shout out to the chat. Thank you guys so much for coming in and checking out the show right from the beginning. Guys, I think we are in for a roller coaster ride tonight. When it came down to it, we've been talking about the topics that we're gonna be, talking about live on the show. We've been going back and forth in the DM, and there is such a they're varied, very varied.
Passion.
Oh my goodness, it's crazy. I didn't even know
All right,
like what type of energy would come out of just this one topic, man. But we are gonna get into it today. Of course, we're gonna be talking about PlayStation 5 possibly coming out with 2 SKUs. We're gonna be talking about hardware with the PlayStation 5. Supposedly, there's a rumor that there is a quote unquote Hollywood graphics chipset that is underneath the hood of the PS5. In terms of a rumor, we're going to get into that. We're going to ask a pretty good question as well. BioWare came out with a blog recently talking about the future of Anthem. And I got to say, after looking at what they're talking about in that blog, I have to pose this question. Is Anthem, as a game, basically dead and buried, man? It's going to be really interesting, but we can't get into the topics until we do the intros. And I'm going to start off with this man. You know him as a Gears head. I know him as a hardcore gamer. Of course, I am talking about the explosion himself, Crispy Bomb!
Boom! Here I am. I'm ready to get it going. Let's do it.
Nice, brother. I gotta say, man, congratulations, man. You went over 1,000 followers on Twitter, and I think it's growing even more now, right?
Yeah, I'm approaching that 1,010, and thank you everybody. I couldn't believe that I got 1,000 followers. Started doing this about a year and a half ago with you guys on CCC, and it's just been, you actually got me into Twitter. I never really used it, so
and now you can't stop using it, man. That's the whole thing.
It's the first thing I open. It used to be Facebook. Now it's like, hey, what's going on Twitter? Who's starting stuff over here?
What's a Facebook? I don't even know, man.
Yeah, Bookface. There we go.
MySpace.
All right, brother. Well, I can't wait to hear your opinions on the topics. You heard when we were off air. There is some energy right now in this panel, and I think you're gonna have some input as well, man. I think you're gonna bring some energy. It's gonna be a lot of fun, dude.
This is gonna be fire. Let's do this.
And of course, next on the list, you see him as a special guest on other shows throughout the week, but right here, he is always a part of the starting lineup. The gaming businessman himself, Predator.
What up? What up? What up? Let's get in these topics, man. I know we got a lot of energy. I don't want to lose that with the intro. So,
all right,
let's go.
All right, no doubt, no doubt, brother. Next on the list, coming live from the 405, and he's just trying to talk to the intelligent gamer out there, which is why he talks to me off air before we go live on this show. K Mega.
I thought I was there for because when I talk to stop it. I won't do it. I'm gonna save it anyway. Hold on, sir. Let me pay the bills for you. Sir X-Man said no more super chat. K Mega drained me yesterday. I'm sure he bought a big stick with that money. Listen. I just wanted to feel like I was Xbot for a minute, because it's like every other sentence, it's like, I got you, bot. I got you. I'm like, man, help a brother out, man. You know what I'm saying? So it was good. But no, man, it was great. Just wanted to say, man, GRG was incredible last night. The explanation that Bloody gave, it was long. It was a long show, but
it was long. I almost fell asleep on it, but then you brought me right back, man. But he went in, dude.
Bloody, he's all about getting Death Stranding, and there's nothing wrong with that. Game could be game of the year, whatever. I don't, people could love it, could be high ratings, whatever. But when he gave his full explanation about everything regarding the water substance and the baby and all of that, bruh, we all started singing some R. Kelly songs, and it was wild, bro. I said, what the hell? So, man, check out GRG Podcast, man. It was a blast. And Bloody went into his whole mode and everything. It was crazy. Yeah. I was like, man. But anyway, let's have a great show, man. We all energized, ready to go. I got my Crown Black here. I'm about to crack it open. Let's get it.
Yo, K Mega last night, he had one phrase that he said was absolute fact. So you guys got to go back and check it out. You will know exactly what I mean. It's not too deep into the show either. You will see he brought some straight facts, and it's all about your boy Xbot448. But on that note, guys, we got to get into it. Let me see. Let's go PlayStation first. I'm not gonna hit the big one yet. Let's go PlayStation because PlayStation has been out there in the rumor mill. Of course, we heard about the state of play, which we're gonna talk about in a little bit. But in terms of hardware, an interesting rumor has come out that there are people out there that believe the PlayStation 5 will release with two different SKUs, a baseline SKU and a pro model, which if you read between the lines, a pro model means it definitely has to have more power. There has to be something in there that kind of like caters more towards the hardcore gamer or whatnot. And I found this really, really interesting because, of course, you all know there was a rumor with Xbox with Lockhart and
Anaconda.
Anaconda. Yeah, I can't believe I forgot that name. That there was supposed to be a baseline model Xbox Lockhart and a pro model Anaconda, and of course the gaming community was very critical about that. It's like, but that's just going to confuse the consumers and what's going on with that, and they shouldn't do that. I thought it was a good idea if you can go in at a lower price point, get a base model out there that people would find attractive, and then have kind of like that more powerful hardcore system for people that are willing to spend a couple extra $100 to get like the most powerful system or whatnot. I thought it was a good idea. So now PlayStation is rumored to do this, and same people that were kind of like criticizing it are almost praising it. It's a little bit weird. K Mega, I'm gonna go to you first on this, brother. I know you heard about the whole two SKUs thing. What do you think about the rumor? Do you think it's true? And what do you think about the reaction, man?
Well, first off, with the rumor, it's a possibility. I mean, nothing is set in stone. Now, we heard about the patents with backwards capability and things like that, but nothing has panned out. And something that was brought up on GRG last night that I think everybody forgot about until it was brought up. They've already done this. They've done this with the PlayStation Slim, and they did this with the PlayStation Pro. They came out a month away from each other, and also they brought a peripheral, which was the PlayStation VR, within that same was it right there in the same time frame between those two.
They didn't do it for launch of like new hardware though. It was that mid-gen refresh type deal.
It is, but then again, everybody was claiming that it was odd. Like, why would? Because I was saying like one is going to, and we've had this discussion on the show, was that like one is going to offset the other eventually. Like you're going to go ahead, and most people are going to probably buy the Slim because it's the cheaper, and then there's going to be the hardcore that's going to buy the Pro. And then there was a discussion where the Pro was absolutely like almost like it was non-existent. Like people were showing, remember the crates, you know what I'm saying, the PlayStation Pros just sitting there or whatever. So it's one of those things where I look at it where I think PlayStation is getting ready to make that move and don't want to linger their console like Xbox does, because in a sense, like the Pro didn't really gravitate like maybe they thought it would, not like how the Xbox X is going to gravitate once we get to the Scarlet, because Xbox already made their stance about what they're going to do. PlayStation themselves is kind of old school with it, and they want people to go to the newer hardware and then kind of shun the old stuff. So that's why I'm thinking like they might not go that same route of what the Xbox is going to do, and then they'll probably just have a few games that will be played on the PlayStation 4 for backwards capability, things like that. But or backwards fronts, however the hell you say that. But
Mhm.
but overall, they're going to hurry up and push the PS4 because that's already been sold. They want people to buy the new hardware. So I could see them having, maybe one SKU, and then probably by like January, February, having the next SKU out there, so people can go ahead and have the option of buying the best version, or they could do that where they could do it at the same time, and then people just choose. I don't find it to be crazy. I didn't find it to be crazy with Xbox. And so the other point, with how these gamers out here, or not gamers, or YouTubers, bloggers, whatever, have gone into the other direction and saying, "Oh, this is smart. This is up." I mean, what do you expect? I mean, PlayStation is the darling. Nintendo is become more of a darling, and whatever they can do, it's going to get looked at as it was very smart. It was strategic. It's just the way it is, man. And for anybody that jumps ship, I mean, hell, we've been seeing this with games of how people were once an Xbox person, now they're a PlayStation person. I mean, shit, you should have just been saying that you was just a gamer in the first place instead of being acting like, you was primarily just just wanted to cater to this fan base.
Yeah.
I just think it's just a crazy situation all the way around, where people just they just want to hype up something because that's about their narrative at this particular point. I think it's just good business. It's smart, and like Xbox can afford to make these type of decisions because they've had that vision of wanting to do things like PC. PlayStation, I don't think so much. They want to get as many of those consoles out the door and not have people still stick with the PlayStation 4, or they'll have another Xbox One 360 moment, in my opinion.
Now, check this out, K-Mega. Now, first off, I want to pay the bills again. Shout out to Super Chat X-Man over here saying, Sony stealing Microsoft ideas again. Facts. And then he's like, I'm done. So I think he's done with Super Chat. Brother, I appreciate all the support, man. All you guys just being here definitely is support for the channel. Thank you guys so much. And of course, Sir X-Man, I got to give you, extra praise for hitting up, not only over here, but GRG, really showing love and support for both podcasts, man. Thank you so much. Definitely appreciate it. Now, Mega, there is a question I have for you, because there are YouTubers out there stating that the reason why they don't like this is the fact that they would buy the launch PS5. Like, why doesn't Sony wait like 3 or 4 years and then come out with the Pro, so this way they can double dip and have the consumers buy another piece of hardware again? That, man, I was completely appalled by that, because that when it comes down to it, you should be a gamer and a consumer first before you're like waving the flag of whatever piece of plastic you prefer to play on. I gotta ask you, what's your opinions on that, man? People are really stating that they don't like it because Sony should double dip and get consumers to pay for another piece of hardware 3-4 years down the line.
Well, it's the shade tree investors. People want to care about what these companies' pockets are instead of worrying about their own pockets. I mean, look, they've been doing this type of stuff forever. Like, we've always had multiple SKUs of consoles as long as I could think of them. You know what I'm saying? It's just what they do. So if they wait to do it, or if they do it at the same time, the consumer is smart enough to know what they want. And it is appalling, but who cares? I mean, it's the same thing when people say, how many Xboxes did you have to spend just for these type of games and blah, 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 blah. The consumer has the money to spend it. There ain't no need for you to bitch about it, because it's not your money, it's theirs. So if PlayStation decided they want to do 2 or 3 SKUs within that life cycle, which I've been stated, and I'm still sticking by that, is that this is going to be another long cycle, kind of like how the 360 and the PlayStation 3 was.
Damn, what was that? That was like 8 years, right?
Yeah. I think it's going to be a longer cycle, and so it would make sense for you to have another version 5-6 years down the line. But there's also going to be custom consoles. There's also going to be all different types of different ways of wanting to get people to buy all these consoles, and if you just want to call Nintendo a hybrid, whatever, but that's just handheld. What they do.
It's a handheld, brother.
Regardless, I still call it a console. But
Nintendo is doing exactly what they know how to do best. They are creating the best handhelds out there. that can be plugged into a TV as well. And I'm not knocking them, but I'm just like saying exactly what the Switch is. Let's be real here. But all right, brother, I'm gonna move on to Predator, and with that, Mega, because I forgot my water downstairs. I'm gonna ask Predator the question, and then I'm gonna run and get my water. So if anything happens, man, you run the ship until I come back. But
Gotcha.
all right, so Predator, here we go.
Yes.
Two SKUs for the PlayStation 5. That is the rumor. You have base model, you have the Pro, and of course you are the gaming businessman. So why don't you tell the chat what you think about this? Are you down with 2 SKUs coming from the PlayStation?
For PlayStation, I don't really see a big issue with it. I think the issue with Microsoft when they did it was that they had like so much shit coming out at the time they were trying to do this. With the SAD edition, you had the X that just came out. They're talking about doing 2 SKUs later. Like I thought for Microsoft, I thought it was a bad idea for them because they're not selling consoles anyway. Let's be real. But for PlayStation, I think on their side, like they have a lot going for them because they have people who still have older hardware that want to upgrade. And if it gives them an option to pick out, again, we don't know what the 2 SKUs are. Like it could be, like just a base, diskless model. It could be a big bump in the storage or something like that. So we don't know the answer to that question. But I think for them, they're giving options to people. It will work a lot better in their favor than I think it would Microsoft's coming out with 2 SKUs. I really don't see what the big issue is. Like it gives you a choice. If you got the bread to buy the more expensive version and that's what you want, go for it. If you don't have the bread, you have an option to get something cheaper. So I don't know why people are just up in arms over it. Like, oh, the consumer's going to get confused. Like we're not that stupid. Like we're smarter than that. I mean, I could walk in the store and just ask questions. I would have liked to see something like, and I mentioned this when Microsoft was doing their deal, like with the Surface, like when you go and you buy the Surface book, right? It gives you options of which ones you want to buy. You want the discrete GPU, you want the i7, you want this, like, and I don't want to get into this whole computer-based like console thing, like where you can actually change out too many components. But if they did come out with something similar like that, where maybe you can only get it from the store directly, or maybe certain outlets, and you can actually upgrade. Like, let's say I wanted a really, really beefy fucking Xbox, and I wanted to pay, $750 for it with a 4 terabyte hard drive. Give me that option in the store, or like something I can actually order, a customized order. But like putting that shit in brick and mortar stores with like 5 different SKUs, I mean, it might get a tad bit confusing to some people walking in there. But I think for Sony, 2 SKUs, that's fine. I mean, it's not a big deal.
So for Xbox, there would be an issue. Like I don't understand why there would.
The reason why I say it's an issue for Xbox is because they can't sell their console now. So now you're going to create 3 more, to try and sell. Like that's the only reason I'm saying that. 2 more. Okay, you had the X, you had the Slim, you had the SAT, and now you're coming out with the Scarlet.
All right,
and then what? So like that's 4 on the shelf right now.
I got you, but brother, what I feel like when Project Scarlet comes out, they're not going to have the Xbox One name on the new hardware.
We don't know that, but again, keep in mind. I mean,
that's what I feel.
We say that now, but when the X released, there were still stores that had the fucking base model bad brick boy fucking on display, like with the Connect. Like that was a thing. I used to take pictures of this shit. Like that was a thing. So like you say that now, but that shit was still in the stores. Then maybe they learned their lesson, but I don't think for Microsoft they need to do that. Like again, they're having problems selling their console now. Like why put 5 out there?
I hear what you're saying, but I'm still gonna roll with like I feel they're gonna kind of go away from the Xbox One name when it comes to Scarlet, and therefore it's not necessarily confusing because as soon as you see Xbox One, if you're a gamer,
But you're speculating.
That's
you don't know
less,
that though.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I did say I feel that way, man.
And you could be right. And again, like if they start pulling back, like the again, they start pulling the Slim off the shelf, the SAD edition off the shelf, and that's even with the PlayStation. They start pulling back production and stuff like that, which I don't know if they've even done that yet for either company. But once you start seeing that, that's them saying, okay, we're taking this shit off the shelf so we can fill it with the newer shit. Like, you can't go and buy a fucking a Galaxy Note 8 right now on the shelf. They don't have it there anymore. Like maybe a 9, maybe. But like the 10 is out, so they want to sell that product to everybody, not the older version. So let's see if they actually start.
Oh,
pulling stuff
they
off
have.
the shelf.
Oh, trust me, they have the 9 there as well.
The 9 you can get, but like I
but
tried
the
to actually.
Xbox One is the Note 9 to the Scarlett's 10. You see what I'm saying?
Say that again.
You said like I said that they would have the Note. They do have the Note.
Yeah,
9
the X will still be
10.
out there. I think the X will still be out there, of course. I mean, like and again, it's still serviceable. You know, like even going into next generation, like I personally, I said this last night, I don't think I'm gonna upgrade right now with the X, with the Scarlett, because I don't really see a need to. I have a nice PC, I can just upgrade and play all the exclusives there. But like that's just me. But I still think that, you know, the X will still be a serviceable device. It'll still be here, you know. So a lot of people may not want to upgrade from the Xbox side just yet, because we want to see what they're going to do.
All right. Well, Predator, what do you think about the reaction? You heard what I said there, where people are like, well, why would Sony do that when they could, you know, put out the base console and them, including a large consumer base, buy the base console, and then like 3 years down the line, kind of like double dip and get them to buy the newer hardware as well. I know you're a business guy and stuff like that. But
I know where you're going with this. So like you would think that they would like say, hey, let's release just a base model now, and then a little bit further down the road release a Pro, a little bit further, like they kind of maximize and keep the people within, you know, the PlayStation. I like how they did with this generation, right? And that's fine. I think they probably will do something like that. But keep in mind, having 2 SKUs right now doesn't mean they won't do a mid-gen refresh. Like they still have the Slim they can release, you know, sometime during that generation. You know, you can actually have an enhanced Pro, whatever the fuck they're gonna Pro, whatever the hell they're gonna call it. Like they can still do that. I don't think it's gonna be an issue releasing 2 SKUs and then still going that route.
I just find it funny that, you know, once people have like a YouTube channel or something like that, they kind of take their I'm a gamer type mentality or I'm a consumer type mentality, and they put it to the side.
What have they been good at during this whole generation?
Who, the
Sony.
YouTubers? Sony?
Yeah. Selling consoles, right? Custom consoles. Yeah. So there you go. That's how they'll do it. They'll just upgrade. Like, oh, we got a new PlayStation 5 Spider-Man edition, you know, and it's gonna have, like, even if they don't do like a mid-gen refresh, those custom consoles they create, because they do it it seems like every game they come out with, even when they, you know, market them, like those custom consoles will still sell. You know, I think they'll still be able to sell those consoles, so they'll still get that money without having to go and make a brand new box and put R&D into it. They can still sell those consoles by just changing the outside of it, because people want that shit.
All right, I got you, brother. And I hear somebody on the sticks right now. I think it might be K Mega. He might be playing something. But my brother Crispy, what is going on, Crispy?
What is up? Yes.
All right, man. So we got this issue here. There's a rumor about 2 SKUs. You know, like I said, Xbox, they had plans for 2 SKUs at one point in time, and we believe they actually changed their mind. They're coming out with 1 Scarlett. So what do you think about this whole PlayStation rumor? Do you think it's true? And what do you feel about the kind of like 2 SKU mentality with launching new hardware? Is this a thing that you're down with, man?
You know, it's the fact is that the marginal increase of PS4 Pro, I think, is the reason why they're thinking 2 SKUs. It's almost like the Xbox One X is you know what their base model is going to be. So, you know, I'm thinking it's going to be a little bit more powerful than the X, but I think it's the price point they're looking for. You know, and I think it really is true, because, you know, let's just say this, you know, Pro model is $700 or something crazy, you know what I mean? Then you're pricing yourself out of the game, and they've done that.
Well, you can use the base model to kind of let your Pro model be more expensive, because you have something to fall back on that's cheaper.
Yes, exactly. And you know, we already kind of have that. I mean, the X, I don't plan on upgrading immediately. I really don't. You know, then my eyes are popping out of my head just playing Gears 5. So, you know, I think I'd start getting headaches if it was any better. So, you know, it comes down to, you know, they want to, hit the masses, and they probably saw Xbox saying, "Oh, we're not going to do it anymore," or "We think they're not going to do it anymore." So they're like, "You know what? We're going to do it." And it might be smart. I mean, we don't know how much these consoles are going to be. I mean, estimations around $600 to $700 for some people, is pretty insane, and it's like, I'm glad I got my X. So, like I can have the nice prettiness of all these great games, and then, not have to spend money anytime soon.
Dude, I hear you now, and I am gonna try to mentally like timestamp this, because I feel like when the new series of hardware comes out, and I know there's people out there who have laughed when I said this, but I feel like ray tracing is gonna be a big thing. I think we're gonna see Halo Infinite right off the bat, with the ray tracing enabled, for the graphics. I think it's gonna look so drop dead gorgeous. People aren't gonna believe that it's like actually a game. They're gonna be like, no, that's CGI. That can't be the game, or something like that. So I'm gonna remember what you said, Crispy, but I'm also gonna keep kind of like my idea of what's gonna be shown moving forward to the next series of hardware, and I'm gonna look out for your reaction, because I think you're gonna be like, oh damn, I can just imagine what Gears looks like. I need a Scarlet. Like, I can see it happening, bro.
The frames per second, if they can somehow up it a little, I know like lock 60, but like a game like Gears, maybe they try to push it to the limit. You know what I mean? So maybe they don't just have a locked system anymore, and games can try to strive for the most. Then maybe I would be even more intrigued. You know what I mean?
Okay, I got you, bro. I got you. I think it's interesting, like, and this is one thing you guys are going to get from me being on YouTube. I'm not going to say one thing is good for one company and not the other. I always, from the time that there was a rumor that, Xbox was doing 2 SKUs, I thought it was a good idea, business-wise, to have that base model to come out with. I do believe that they're getting rid of the Xbox One name tag when they do come out with Project Scarlet. So having that base model at a lower price point, it allows them to create a more expensive quote unquote pro version, where they can really put in the hardware to make that console do some things that people did not think consoles could do. So I've always been down with the 2 SKUs thing. I hope that Sony and Microsoft both come out with 2 SKUs thinking that way. I think it'll be a good idea. I think people out there that say, well, it's going to confuse the customers, I can understand that when it comes to like grandmothers, grandfathers, even some parents out there. But let's be honest, man. It's not really going to create a huge headache with the consumer base that they have 2 SKUs coming out for each one. I don't see why that would be a big deal. But moving on, because another interesting rumor about PlayStation, and the more I looked into this per the articles that came out, the more and more I wasn't sure if they were talking about what's already rumored to be in the PlayStation in terms of their graphics, but people are talking about this Hollywood graphics development chip that could be under the hood of the PlayStation 5. And the funny thing was, if this is a dedicated chip, and it's not like the system on a chip that we're talking about that just has ray tracing, and they're like, well, ray tracing is a part of Hollywood graphics and animation and stuff like that. If they're talking about a separate chip, I can't help but be concerned and think back to the cell processor and everything that happened with the PlayStation 3. So I'm going to go to Predator on this one. Pred, I don't know if you saw any of the articles dealing with this whole Hollywood graphics development chip. Like I said, I'm not sure if they're talking about the system on a chip that, where AMD is working with Sony, and got the Zen 2, we got the Navi architecture, all that good stuff, or if they are talking about a dedicated chip. So I'm going to throw it to you like this. If they're talking about a dedicated chip, does it sound to you, putting in a chip that, because I feel Hollywood graphic development is a different type of development than in video games. But what do you think, man?
Speaking a whole nother fucking language to me right now. So, like,
well, would it raise concerns with you, like the cell processor and that whole kind of like debacle with the PS3?
What do you mean, like as far as like heat or what? Like
it just that developers really couldn't wrap around developing for it until like maybe going through halfway through the
the
generation.
generation. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? If
Yeah.
you're
I mean,
introducing a foreign
anytime you
chipset,
come out with new shit like that, like this a new kind of tech, like you have to train people on that shit and how to utilize it. And like we're still not getting, the full. I still don't think we're even out of the PlayStation or the fucking Xbox is the full gambit of the shit that they could do. Now I think like for the internal studios, yeah, they're gonna figure out how to use that shit the way they need to. But I don't like getting caught up in these rumors so far out of the generation because like going into the generation because like we did this last time and we ended up getting what we got now thinking it was going to be this superpower fucking supercomputer Xbox and PlayStation and they ended up just not even barely pushing 4K 60 most of the time. So like
I
I'm
thought
gonna
the X was going to be upgradable too, man.
yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like we're talking about all these interchangeable parts, and like I think it's just too soon to even think about that kind of stuff right now until we get a little bit closer to that. Like, I mean, these are rumors, and I know we talk about this stuff as part of the show, but like putting that much thought into it at this point is just like a waste of my time. Like I'm not even gonna sit here and think about it because we burned ourselves doing this shit in the past. And the more we talk about it, the more people start thinking it's gonna happen. Like we can go as far as back as E3, all the rumors we heard, we're like, oh, Fable, like Splinter Cell.
Fable's like the worst kept secret though. Like they should just say something already.
And the joke that I say to you guys all the time, but what if there isn't a Fable? I mean, we've been talking about it like Splinter Cell. What if there's no Splinter Cell? Like we've been talking about this shit for years, and we get ourselves hyped up for it.
I gave up on talking about Splinter Cell. I don't know
what right?
Ubisoft's
but
doing,
like,
man.
And here we are talking about because we kind of we get caught up in these rumors sometimes because I heard this and somebody tweeted that and someone did this, and then next thing you know we're talking about these topics and people are listening and they start thinking that that's what is going to happen, and then we all get let down. And I'm not going to go into next generation with that mindset. Let me see what you got. Let me see the games plan on it, and I'm going to go from there. So sitting here talking about it this way far out in advance, it's like another year. Like it's just a waste of my breath and time to sit here and entertain the shit because it's probably not even fucking true.
All right. Well, I got to hit up the super chat, and then I want to continue to talk to you, Predator, because I want to explain myself real quick. But Sir X-Man, hit up that super chat one more time. And guys, by the way, I hope you like the new super chat graphics that pop up on the show. I did work hard on that. It is an animated graphic. I hope you guys enjoy it. But he said, who's going to buy their kids an X? That's basically what I think he's saying. They're gonna get the Xbox S, and that's where I also feel like 2 SKUs for the new hardware might really come in handy, where parents will look at it and be like, you know what, I'm not going to spend all that money on the Pro version, but we'll get the base version, and little Timmy or Johnny or Sarah will be happy. Okay,
I hand mine down, dude. That's what I do. Like when I pick up a new box, I give my daughter the older one. Like when if I upgrade this X, like she has an S.
She's gonna revolt one day and be like, I want the new console, Dad.
Put your punk ass down somewhere. I better get a damn job. How about that? But like, and all my kids are gamers, man. Like it's crazy because they're all different. Like one is a Sony person, one is a Switch person, and one is an Xbox person. So like I have to buy shit for every fucking, even if I don't want it, I have to buy it for everybody anyway. Like I know we may get into this later, like Zelda. Like I wasn't gonna buy that. My daughter wanted it, so I had to get it for her, and her mom bought it, so I got stuck with it. So I mean, but yeah, you're right though. Like having, when we were talking about the SKUs a while ago, having the expensive SKU for people who that want that, like the hardcore gamers that want the beefier box, that want to play on a 4K 8K TV, like that's for those people. And I think it's smart if they decide to go with something smaller and more affordable for the people who can't. Like I said, if they're going to come out with a $700 box and then a $400 box, perfect. But there's got to be a big difference in between the two. There's got to be a reason why you're spending an extra $100 or $200 on that more upgradable, or should I say the more powerful one. Like, and I know us, like when we do decide to upgrade, it's gonna be the most powerful one. Most of us anyway. We're not gonna go with the cheap version. But what that does is that, like I said with me, like I give my daughter the next one. You know, I get this one. I get the beefier one for me. I'll hand down this X to her. I'll trade in the S and try and get some kind of money off of it if GameStop's still around that time, and and try and get some cash on it to kind of help offset the cost. But yeah, I mean that's a good point. Like I think that most parents will probably go with the cheaper version for their kids versus getting that expensive ass box.
Yeah. Now, see, the reason why I'm bringing this up now, Predator, is first off, corporations are bound to make the same mistakes, and I think one thing people are kind of like looking into the next series of hardware that's coming out is every time a new series of hardware comes out, whether it has backwards compatibility, whether the games will be forwards compatible, it's a clean slate. Like, look at what happened with say Nintendo. The Wii U sold like down to the cellar, man. You know what I'm saying? When it came down to it, there was nowhere. It didn't meet any expectation that Nintendo had. But when they came out with new hardware, they came out with the Switch, and all of a sudden it's bygones are bygones. You know what I'm saying? And people just started picking up the Switch like crazy. I feel like a lot of people, first off, they underestimate when new hardware comes out, especially if it has a new name to it. People kind of like in their subconscious, they leave the old way behind. I've heard a couple people say this on YouTube, and I was like, you know what? How come more people aren't saying this? Everybody's like, oh man, Sony's just going to dominate when the new series of hardware comes out. It's like, well, if Xbox comes out and shows features and stuff like that, has a really good launch lineup, graphically is impressive, I don't feel like it's all said and done and just close the book. So with that being said, and companies having a tendency to possibly stumble over the same foot that they did before, when I heard about this chipset, I thought about the cell processor and what happened there. You see what I'm saying? And like that was not a good time for them, and they tried to put something foreign underneath the hood of the PlayStation 3, and it took so much time for the developers to kind of wrap around exactly how they're going to develop on that thing.
You don't think they learn from their past mistakes? You think it's gonna fuck up and do it all over again?
I'm hoping they do. I'm hoping they do, but dude, I can't give credit to any I can't give credit to Xbox either that they learned from any of their mistakes as well. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I don't think they're gonna. I hope when it comes to Xbox that they clarify exactly what the Scarlet is right from the reveal and moving forward. Otherwise, like that could be a real bad time for them. But with Sony, when they start putting foreign stuff underneath the hood of their console, I get concerned, man. I think about the PlayStation 3. I don't know. I
know this is their bread and butter though. Like they don't have anything else going for them as a company much. So I don't think they'll fuck this up. I think they're gonna do a lot of. If this is what they're gonna go this route. I think they're gonna put a lot of research and development in it and try and get it right. And make sure they're not releasing some shit like the Red Ring of Death that's gonna just cave the company in, especially with this being like the Sony PlayStation being their main money maker. They're not gonna fuck this up.
All right, man. I'm gonna roll with that, but I don't. It's definitely gonna be interesting. Yo, Mega, what do you think about this whole separate chip? Like I said, the more articles I'm reading, I don't know if they're talking about the traditional CPU, GPU, or if they're talking about a dedicated chip coming straight out of Hollywood that deals with like movie cinematic graphics and stuff like that. Would you be concerned knowing Sony's track record with putting foreign chips underneath the hood of their console, or am I just looking too deep into it, bro?
I think everybody's looking too deep into it if they believe that shit is true. I mean, this like you said, it seems like the same talk that we was hearing about the PlayStation 3. And when they were showing the graphics.
My bad, Mega. Just before, I got a super chat. I want to hit it. Yo, Emmanuel A. Shout out to him. He says, thanks for the podcast, everybody. So, obviously, Emmanuel is being entertained, and that's what we're here to do, man. We're here to inform and entertain. But go ahead, Mega.
Well, yeah, and it's just kind of like that whole saying. I mean, like everybody's giving all these perceptions, and look, it could happen. I doubt it. Just for the mere reason is that everybody is overhyping everything, and we don't know nothing. I wait till PlayStation release information about it, maybe a PSX, whatever. But it's kind of like that whole thing with I heard Fred say, there's no way the PlayStation's going to fuck it up. I think 5 years ago we were saying that about Xbox with the 360, and look what happened.
Yeah, I know, right?
and then you got to look at the situation as well. Is that like Xbox went through all this staff change up? PlayStation's going through that same thing. Not saying that PlayStation is not going to have solid marketing or do anything different, but I mean, we just coming from PlayStation has not gone to a lot of these conferences. They're what's keeping them relevant is the fact that they have these games coming and their gamer base is hyping these games, even though there will be good games, great games even, and maybe great games, who knows. But the thing of it is that they've given this impression that everything that they're going to do is going to be gold because they've done such a great job this generation. I'm not buying all that. Everything starts over from zero. That's how I just look at it, and I'll just wait to see what happens. I think that they have a different mindset. Is those PlayStation fans that were saying, "Oh no, they'll never do backwards compatibility." Now they're talking about doing it. They're not going to get into streaming like Xbox is doing it and all that. And now they're doing that. And most likely they'll have games as a service as well. I think that the new management that's taken over for Sony has seen the light for a lot of things, and this chip that they're going to be supposedly put in, I think is just no more than just ray tracing, and that's it. And that's going to be in Xbox as well. So look, I think the PlayStation 5 is going to be powerful. It's going to be great. I think that they'll probably most likely be even, and it'll be more about the games more so than the power this coming up generation. But this whole thing of that it's all set in stone of what's going to happen in this, that nobody knows except for the companies themselves of how they're going to approach it and how they're going to do things. I think that we just came from what Xbox should have been doing the whole generation when they got Gears and they advertised the fuck out of that game. That's how we was expecting, and hopefully that is just the new model of what they're going to be doing in the future. We'll see what's going to happen. But as for movie, that's PlayStation 3 talk, and there's somebody just throwing out some shit and then just letting it stick, and then people are trying to use it as oh, it's this, is that, it's this, is that. Just wait and see.
I got you now, brother. So with what you're saying about kind of like the launch of the new hardware and stuff like that, and you're like, I hear you saying that people are like, well, Sony's been dominating this year or this generation, and when the next series of hardware comes out, it's just going to continue to be the same thing. So right. From what I'm hearing, what you're saying, are you in the same camp with me, like that? When new hardware comes out, at least on a subconscious level, it kind of like it clears the table. Yes. For a lot of people, especially when you start hearing new features, you see the launch lineup, you get to see what the new controller is, all that good stuff. So, you think that it's an even playing field when it comes to revealing the new series of hardware from both these companies, right?
I mean, just look at it from a standpoint of what you've been going through for the last 2 generations. Is anybody talking about the Wii U anymore?
No.
Okay. Everybody's talking about the Switch.
Yeah, and you don't hear anything. You don't hear anything about the Wii U and what happened with that. They moved right along, man.
That. Right. Like, yeah. Does anybody except for the Xbox fans that's going back to the glory days, do anybody talk about the 360 anymore?
No.
No. Do PlayStation fans talk about PlayStation 3 at all?
No.
No. So it's a clean slate. You start over. They all have a plan. We'll see what their plan is going to be, and just enjoy the ride. If they do have some kind of chip component, it goes back to what I said in the beginning in the first topic, was that, look, if they're going to put all of this type of high-tech shit into these consoles, which they are, but I don't know about this particular chipset, but if they do, then it's going to, man, these consoles is going to last for a while because they're going to have to recoup a lot of money back for what they're putting into these boxes.
I hear you, brother. I was also calling one of the kids. I have his laptop.
Oh, okay. I was like, what's going on here?
But yeah, no, I feel it's interesting, and I feel like a lot of people, they're just automatically just stating that it's just going to keep continuing. And I'm like, if you look at history, it doesn't really go like that. You know what I'm saying?
No, I remember me talking to my homeboys, and I was like, oh man, I can't wait for what Xbox is going to be bringing to the table, man. I mean, good grief, because they kicked ass so well in the 360 era that you just can't think that they would do, that they would do what has been done this generation. Like, I mean, it's not been all bad like some would try to pretend it to be, but it's not been the 360 era. That's been for damn sure. So it's been a lot of missed opportunities. And so again, everything is a clean play. That's why I think that they will probably have a different name that isn't associated with the Xbox One. They want people to forget about it and just move on. You know what I'm saying? Hey, that time is gone and spent. There was a lot of mess ups.
That's a no-brainer right there, man. I'm sorry.
No-brainer. Like, there should be nothing Xbox One on the new Scarlet. Just, you know what I'm saying? Just call it whatever, something else. You can call it. You can call it. I don't know. I don't know what the hell you can call it.
Anything besides
call it
one.
Anything, but don't call it one. So that's it. That's it. It is what it is. And like I said, the PlayStation is going to have some great technology into it, but all this other stuff right now, man, I just think it's just people just making up shit, man.
I do feel like we already know that the Scarlet is going to have what they call hardware accelerated ray tracing, which means it's going to have dedicated hardware under the hood for ray tracing. I feel that PlayStation 5 absolutely needs that. If they depend on the CPU and the GPU to do the ray tracing and every other computation when it comes to the game, I think that would be a severe bottleneck, because ray tracing is a very demanding tool when it comes to graphics and video games. They need hardware dedicated to ray tracing underneath the hood of the PS5, man.
Right. And just one more point. It's just when after the PlayStation 2, look what happened with the PlayStation 3. You see what I'm saying? So I mean,
dude, PlayStation 2 was dominating. Absolutely dominating, man.
Right. So it's just one of those things, man. I just as gamers, just relax. We'll know what's coming, and we'll get to do it. And I definitely disagree. Well, I mean, I can't disagree with anybody's money, but I should say, I think once we see what these new consoles are going to show, I think people are going to be lined up by the droves, just like we did with the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. I don't think anybody's going to hold off and wait just because they got a superior PC and all that shit. No, I think.
Well, speaking of PC,
if we're console gamers, we're going to continue to stay console gamers.
We got a PC elitist. We got a PC elitist in the chat, Mr. Brian Baker, saying hardware ray tracing isn't ready now and it won't be ready by the end of next year. And he's just saying that because he might be jelly with the customization that might be going on with consoles, and I think it's gonna blow his mind, man. I think that's why he's like, "Nah, man, it needs to be in my PC first. It needs to." But yo, Crispy, you heard everybody else's opinions. You definitely heard mine. I have been a lot more vocal on tonight's show than I usually am. So if you ever notice, I'll put topics in there and I'll kind of sprinkle in kind of like my thoughts lightly. But I've been putting my thoughts in. But I want to hear what you think, man. If they have a dedicated chip, kind of like what I would think of as a foreign chip when it comes to video game development, dude, would you have any concerns like what happened with the cell processor with the PlayStation, or am I looking too deep into it, brother?
The fact is that we've come a long way technically wise, so I highly doubt that these devs would not figure out a way if that was the case. I mean, we're talking about 100 million consoles PlayStation just sold, so they're gonna find a way. And we're not talking like the Sega days when Sega Saturn and Dreamcast came out and they had a bunch of like different things that devs.
My Jaguar had a phone pad on my controller.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? So those are the days when like people were trying to find themselves, but like there's so many people in the tech industry now. Like, if they're coming out with this chip, they certainly have the devs in mind. If that's the case, I highly doubt it. I think it's going to be very similar, to the Scarlet, and I think we're overreacting once again.
I'm known for that, brother. By the way, I don't know if you can tell. I am known for overreacting, man.
Yeah, you got a little overreaction in you sometimes. But if it was the case, if it was true that maybe this was like more of like a movie type tech, they're obviously going to go to the source of it and find out what's going on. This is not something that Sony's not finding themselves like back when they started and everything else. So
every time you say finding yourselves, all I'm thinking about is I have 11-year-old twins about to be 12, and I know they are about to find themselves as well. So, but anyway, now, Crispy, you heard what I said about the launch of new hardware, because I know you've seen out there, it's like, oh, Sony's going to still dominate no matter what, and this and that or whatever. You heard K-Mega, when it came to the PlayStation 2, PlayStation 2 was absolutely everywhere, and then look what happened when the 360 came out. Are you in the boat with us that you don't really count your chickens before they hatch, or do you think that quote unquote like mindshare dominance that PlayStation has right now is going to continue throughout the next series of hardware, kind of like the unveiling and as we get the features and stuff like that? Do you think it's a blank slate, or do you think that are you leaning towards more it's gonna kind of, at least at the start, be the way that it is now?
I'm going to say it's going to be the way it is now. Okay. And the only reason why I say that is because we're in a backwards and forward type, console generations. So, I know 360 was like kind of the start of it, you know what I mean? And they kind of, allowed you to play some of those games originally on the Xbox One, but it wasn't so prevalent. Like now we're talking like hundreds upon hundreds of games that are going to be able to be, played throughout all the platforms. So Sony has a mind share right now, and they have kind of a lockdown. Now, the one thing I will say is, it took one conference, it took one announcement, one price that they, these consoles have, these companies have announced, and it has completely changed the narrative. So we'll see, because in the end, they could go and say this thing's $800, and people would be like, oh, well, I can get the Scarlet for $700. You know what I mean? And it's almost as powerful. And then people will be like, well, screw it. I mean, I play a lot of multi-plats anyway. And, I'll go and wait until the price drops, and then I'll be able to play all those single-player PlayStation
NBA
games.
2Kers, those Madden gamers that only play kind of like those games throughout the year. And I will say, I feel strongly, I'm looking at NBA 2K20, and I'm looking at the way they have the lighting set up and stuff like that. And you guys, you can call me crazy, but anytime somebody has called me crazy, like a year later when this stuff comes out, it's like, oh, that's actually true. Dude, I think 2K is setting up to have NBA 2K in that ray tracing realm. That stuff is going to look real. Oh, my goodness, it's going to look real. Yo, huge shout out to Sir X-Man hitting up that super chat one more time, bro. I thought you said you're done, man, but he said K-Mega playing Grip on Sunday. You in Xbot? I gotta see if I have the game downloaded. I'm always down for golf, though. You know that, Sir X-Man. So if plans change and you go to the Golf Club 2019, I know I'll definitely be there. Otherwise, I gotta see if I have the game on my hard drive. But with that being said, guys, we are going to move on. And since I ended with Crispy on this, I'm gonna start with Crispy, and we're gonna be talking about a game that came out this generation. We've talked so much about like new hardware that's coming in a little over a year. Let's get back in on this generation. An EA game called Anthem. And Anthem came out, BioWare came out with a blog talking about the future of this game. And there were some things that when you read this blog, in my opinion, is very disturbing when it comes to the content that could be coming to this game in the future. Now, in this blog, they stated that their entire roadmap that had to deal with something called acts. Each act, they dumped a bunch of content in there for the players to get into. That whole roadmap has been thrown away. They're not using that anymore, guys. If you were hoping for acts 1, 2, 3 and stuff like that, and the content that they had pinned with it, it is no longer a thing. It poof, vanished thin air. But not only that, they have replaced it with seasons. And now with seasons, I'm like, that's okay. I get the season pass for a game called Destiny, and they give me different multiplayer activities. They give me of course different raids and stuff like that per season. So I'm like, all right. But then they said that these seasons are going to be quote unquote themed. Not only that, they're stating that there is still hard work to do on the framework of this game. Like there's actually issues that go all the way down deep into development, stuff that they can't just make a quick fix for. All that being said, and not only that, but I'm hearing a bunch of the developers are actually moving on to Dragon Age as well. There's a team that is still there with Anthem, but from what I'm hearing, it's not that big of a team. And I gotta ask the panel. I'm starting with Crispy. All that information, all put out in front of you. Is Anthem a dead game now?
You might be shocked, but I don't think so. And the only reason why I don't think so is because I played Division, and Division was supposed to be dead too. And they actually did almost the same thing. They restructured their entire launch plan, and they went back to fixing the problems with the game. And it took almost 2 years to finally get the game the way it should have been. But once people, that's almost when they threw it in Game Pass a little, it was a little bit before that. But the game is really good now. And I think Anthem can do that. Now the concern is all these people going to another game. Like
went to Dragon Age, man.
Yeah. So, Ubisoft massive is it's a huge company, and they're putting all their effort into a game. Like there's a big difference than, BioWare saying, okay, now we're working on another game and we're going to have 4 or 5 devs like doing all this stuff. Like then it could be, right down the drain,
Dude, and my whole thing is you guys got to remember, me and Snaps, we spent $60 on this game. I wanted this game to continue to be good. The gameplay loop in and of itself, the thing that hooks a gamer, all right, because it has to have a good gameplay loop. Otherwise, the pacing is off, the gameplay is off, and you just don't feel like playing it. The gameplay loop is there in Anthem. But from, seeing what I'm seeing with developers moving on to Dragon Age, there's still work that needs to be done, kind of like in the basement level of development when it comes to this game. Them switching up and using the word themes, in my opinion, because when I hear themes, I think of like holiday themes, like there's like 2-3 times a year, like Destiny 2 comes out with different like holiday themes and a different kind of like multiplayer experience within that kind of like short amount of time. Not only that, but the Cataclysm that's out is definitely not what they put out there. That is what that event is supposed to be, and that event is actually going away soon. So with that being said, before we get to K Mega, I gotta get to Predator. Pred, what do you think about this game, Anthem? You heard all the information that I put out there. I hope you got into like the videos that I put in the DM talking about the blog itself. What do you think, man? What the life of Anthem is it flatlining right now, or is there still a heartbeat there, man?
Oh man, I think I don't know when they're planning on releasing all this stuff. Cause I know like the Cataclysm came maybe like a month ago, I think.
Yeah.
And I played it and I wasn't impressed with it. I loved Anthem when it first came out, but I just kind of got bored really quick because I didn't think there was enough there in the game to keep me. So I was kind of hoping that when they started pushing this content out, who's tapping on something?
Oh, that's me.
That's K Mega on the controller, man. Like
yeah.
you know him. He can't do one thing at a time.
I thought that and again, keep in mind like the whole timeline was jacked, with this. So like I believe the Cataclysm was supposed to come out in the summer, the beginning of the summer, and they pushed it back until like I think August-ish, I guess. And so that kind of screwed some things up. So like a lot of that fan base that was there left, like I mean, some came back. I came back for a little bit to try the Cataclysm when they actually released it, but like I think their time would have been that thin. Like over that time period, they had a lot of headway where there wasn't a lot out where they could have like just dropped content and kept people interested in the game. But now as we move into the holiday, we got people playing Gears, we got people playing Zelda, we got people playing Borderlands, we got Ghost Recon coming out, we got Destiny got their stuff coming out, and it's like, where they're gonna fit? Where am I as a gamer who's already played Anthem that wasn't happy with it? Where am I gonna fit in time to get into Anthem and get back into the, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I as a gamer, I just don't know if I will do that. Will I try it out? Yeah. But I don't know if I'll still put forth the same energy that I did back when it first came out, just because I don't feel like they're pushing it the way I thought that they should have. Now, again, I did like the game. I don't want to bash it too much, but all these changes right now, I think, are like kind of bad for it. I want to see what they do with it in the future. And you're talking about them going to Dragon Age and stuff like that, starting working on that. So, like, how much effort are they actually putting into this? And I joked about this like earlier in the year. Like, this game should just been free to play. After they made all the changes, just make it free to play and just make it a fucking loot content. Like,
well, I believe it's in EA Access in the vault now, right?
That's not free to play though. Like, I mean, like a straight up everybody free to play, cross play, everything. Like, I thought that's the route they should have went when I mentioned it. I wasn't joking when I said it, but it just makes sense to me. But they haven't done that, so I'm waiting on that to happen. Like, there's been so many changes with this game. It's got a good foundation. I've always thought that these games that come out as looter shooters, the first game isn't all that. The second game, they get it right. So hopefully they come with it and they figure it out while they're playing around with Anthem, this version, that if they decide to do an Anthem 2, they learn from their mistakes. I know the Division did it. Destiny did it as well. And they came back with a second game that was actually a lot better than the first. So I do think that the fan base, there's going to be a few hardcore people that will still play it, but I think the majority of that fan base is gone.
I don't think the developer is going to give people the content to get in and play it. I don't think the developers are going to give it the content that'll give it kind of like that electric shock to the heart that'll get it like pumping again, man.
Yeah, I don't know what. And the thing is, if they don't, right, and like if they come out with this great patch, this great content, and it doesn't hit the way they expected it to hit, what's going to happen after that? Like is it going to become? Keep in mind, these are the same people that kind of trashed, Mass Effect at some point, So, like, I mean, they will turn their lights off on that motherfucker if they need to, and I don't want to see that happen because I did like the game, but if they come out with some decent content, I'll hop back in. I'll try it out.
Oh yeah, me too.
A lot of people will.
No doubt, brother. So that being said, we're going to my brother K Mega. Mega, what's up, bro?
What's up, man?
What's up? Did you put the
back? Let me sit back.
Did you put the controller down?
No, because I'm playing co-op with some listeners on Borderlands. I was just playing by myself, and then people just start jumping in with me, and I'm like, God dang! But
dude, somebody jumped in like when I was playing Gears as well. I don't know who it was, and if it's anybody in the chat, I do apologize. I didn't have my headset in or anything like that, but I heard you through the TV.
I just told them, hey, look, I'm doing a podcast, but they added a friend, and now they're going at it. So okay, all right, but okay, so
and if you notice, Mega, I did you a favor, and I said the D word before I even got to you. All right,
right. So which you know what I'm saying, and I was going to say that I wasn't going to say that word, but I'm going to do it anyway. That's the thing to me. I get tired of. I really do. I get tired of when these media outlets and then certain people just come out and say, well, it's dead, it's gone, it's this, it's that. Man, all you got to do is just do some research, and you'll see plenty of games that looked like they were dead on arrival, didn't have a fucking chance, and they came back better than ever.
Most of them had the Ubisoft tag on it, so that's an Ubisoft thing. But okay, go ahead.
That may be, but regardless, I mean, Destiny is one of them, and that's not Ubisoft.
You see, the comparison to Destiny.
Listen. The same people that you sent us videos from were saying the same thing about Destiny 1. When Destiny 1 was having its failed launch, when it launched, first thing that everybody was dogging it out was that it was not what everybody anticipated the game to be. It wasn't. It wasn't.
Did the developers do?
People was dogging out. Just what the developers is. I mean, look.
No.
No. What the developers do? They worked on the game, but it took a while for them to work on it. They got it DLC, and then they made it better, but people still didn't fully come back until they got. I think it was that last DLC, and then the hardcores came back. Then, but you had new people that tried to come in to play the game. There was no damn chance because of the fact that people were so high level, and you had those snobs. They, you know what I'm saying? They didn't want to play with you because they wanted to take the loot or they wanted to kill every fucking body. So I'm like, whatever. I'll wait. And then I wasn't even going to give it an opportunity to play the second one because I was done with it after that. Because I'm like, look, I'm trying to play this game. I'm trying to play the online, experience it and all this and that. And they still did the same stupid shit. But thanks to my boy Blades, he got it. And I promised that I was going to beat the game. I did. And then we was going through it, trying to do some stuff. And why did I just jump off the cliff to kill myself? Okay, I didn't die. Thank goodness. And so it's like Destiny had to go through it. It doesn't matter if it's Ubisoft or not. Still, regardless, those games still had a problem. Division, that was the biggest problem for it. It had a bad launch too, and it didn't have no content after a month. Because I know life that damn game. And it took, like Crispy said, 2 years before they got it actually right. And then here comes what they did with Destiny 2. Division 2
developers didn't go anywhere. They didn't go and work on another project or anything. They stuck with that game and kept working on it.
I get
well,
that.
Let me chime in real quick with that because I was a huge No Life Division guy. So like they had a roadmap for that game that was supposed to last for just like they did with Ghost Recon. They typically, that's why their games last, right? They have roadmaps for their games that they know what they're gonna do with the game. They're not gonna get the developers off of that. Anthem's different. Anthony has no fucking clue what they're doing. They keep changing it.
No.
I think it's more of the sense of that they had an idea with it, and then the developers they want to put developers on something else, and they change it. But it doesn't mean that the game is dead. The game has a fantastic flooring, a foundation. Controls is sweet. The graphics are fantastic. The game, the way that you play the game, it's different than any other thing out there. So I don't see EA letting that game go for somebody else to to kind of take what Anthem has done and then make it better, because then that would leave EA just have a gold mine and just let it go. No, they're still going to work on the game. I understand that EA gets this bad rap because they've made mistakes.
Dude, they try to make microtransaction like they try to make game development ATMs for themselves, man. It's what they tried to do with Star Wars Battlefront 2.
You just praised 2K, and those are one of the fucking originals who started going out there and doing all that.
I don't spend any extra money. I played my career.
It doesn't matter. You didn't have to spend money on Battlefront. You didn't. You didn't have to spend any money on anything.
They did pay to win on Battlefront, man.
Come
on, bro.
Look, man, I don't care, bro. Look, you over here making these excuses. Listen,
that's not an excuse. It's a fact.
Destiny was hijacking motherfuckers left and right with how they was throwing out their DLC. Activision was killing the game with the way they were doing.
Xbox, you didn't play Destiny 1, did you?
No.
Okay.
No. So that's what I'm saying. He's over here trying to make this out to be like that these, man, you can't be throwing out any of that type of shit.
Bungie bought their freedom from Activision, so you can say anything you want about
my God. You
Destiny.
Cannot look, if you haven't played Destiny 1 and know what they were doing with how they were doing Destiny, then you just can't. You can't do it if you haven't played it. They were highway robber motherfuckers. That's why their fan base was leaving in the droves, because first the game didn't live up to the expectation. People was dogging out Peter Dinklage or whatever his name is.
He said Dinklage.
Dinklage, whatever how you say it. Little dude.
But I like your rendition better, man. That's funny.
Yeah, but anyway, look, microtransactions, regardless of what, they're not going to fully go away. And then look, when gamers bitch and say, and let's say gamers win and they take away microtransactions, then there's going to be games that's going to be $80, $90 regular price Then what's
come
going
on,
to happen?
brother. Like
then?
pay to
Come
win.
on,
Yo,
stop
we
it.
gotta
Stop
be
it.
real.
Stop
We
it.
gotta be
Stop it.
real here when it comes to EA, man.
Oh
Like
my goodness.
they not only
EA
that,
is
but
not EA is not worse than Activision. Activision is the worst, man.
but
Stop
dude,
it.
Activision is no longer tied to Destiny, so that you're talking about a
Okay,
yesterday problem.
but Anthem is not Anthem is not fucking Star Wars. It's not. It was.
But
They
it's
didn't even
tied
do
to the
that.
same publisher, though, bro.
Okay,
Let's be
regardless,
real.
but so is COD, so is all these other games, Blizzard games, and everything else is tied to Activision. Stop it. Regardless, it seemed to me, and I said this when we was in there when we before we started the show, is that you kind of want to try to take a jab at Anthem because it seemed like it was threatening your precious destiny.
No, it
Listen,
never came close to threatening Destiny, bro.
you listen. The fact of it is when the game has a lot of life. As long and they can take as long as they want to. The way that these games are
Well, they're
structured
gonna
these
have
days,
to if they have like 3 people working on it. They can't like
if they have one person working on it, it's not going to just die. People will play the game and put the game down, and then when they bring the content and do what they and make the changes that they deem necessary, people will come back because not because this game was broken in the sense that the frame rates was wrong, all this, and the game didn't look pretty, all that. It's just the fact that the game didn't have the content that they presented. So why, if they fucked up with the cataclysm, then why not change the whole structure and go back from the scratch and redo things and make it a seasonal? I don't see anything wrong with that as long as you're making it better. What you're saying, you're talking about themes, and you're sounding like it's going to be like
I'm talking about the blog.
Santa Claus, Colossus running around. That sounds stupid as fuck.
It seems like that might be what it is, man. What do you think of when you hear themes?
Man, I think of it as a season. When it says seasonal content, I don't even know what the fuck you got that shit where it was themes. I don't even care.
You gotta go back and read the blog, bro.
Man, no, I got it. I was reading the shit from. I read it off of their Twitter. I read it off of the Twitter. Man. I read it off of the Twitter, off of the Twitter feed themselves, and they said seasonal content. And so, if regardless of however the hell you want to try to paint it out and make it out to be, listen. This is just the fact. The games still have life as long as they bring the content. We've seen it with Division. We've seen it with Rainbow Six. We've seen it with all these other games out here. It's just you bring the content. These little shooters, these type of games like this, they can still survive as long as the content keeps coming. If they have to take the time to take it, if it takes a year or so, it's like what Fred said. There's a whole bunch of other games that's going to take its place, but once that they show the content and the shit looks legit, people will be right back. That's just a fact,
brother. And see, I love the passion you have, K Mega, because I know you love this game. I love this game as well.
Yeah, the game is fantastic. The game is great.
You're trying to downplay me. I love this game as well. I want my $60 worth. You know what I'm saying? I want a continuous game
play the fucking
that
game.
adds content. They're not adding any content, bro.
I played 100 hours into that game. I got my money's worth. I played 100 plus hours into that game. I got my money's worth, and I haven't even played Cataclysm yet. So you're telling me that you didn't get your $60 worth.
I didn't get what they promised.
That you didn't put no full effort behind,
bro. I did every side mission.
I did every side mission. I did every piece of content.
Happy for you.
I opened up every room. Okay, then, but you cannot say that the game didn't have content because it had a lot more content than I thought. A lot of people thought.
They did not give me what they promised me, man.
It had a fucking story. Destiny 1 didn't even have a story, bro. And
I didn't even play Destiny 1.
Story was better than Destiny 2's story. Fighting a big ass grunt.
Again, you know it's different. You know it's different between Destiny and Anthem.
At the end of Anthem. That shit was legit. That's what I'm talking about. So that looked like some shit from the Sword of Omens, from like Thundercats. Motherfucker got a big ass sword and magical powers and shit. That was what I was talking about. Visually beautiful. What I get to fight at the end of Destiny, a fucking big ass grunt throwing laser beams and shit at me on top of a ship. Not impressed.
Oh, but guess what? The story kept going with Curse of Osiris, with Warmind, with Forsaken.
I got you.
Yo,
I got
see
you.
what you're trying to kind of like
No,
reflect here
what
is
I'm
the fact that
saying
all
is that
these developers
it took part
stayed
2 for
there
them to
working on Destiny, whereas the developers that were working on Anthem, a lot of their team has moved on, dude. Dude, you're deflecting that. That is an important part of this whole thing.
No, I get that part, but you're already asking this question: is the game dead? It's not dead as long as the people will come back and play this game. They get the content. Listen, when you hear the devs are no longer, EA is no longer no longer participating anything towards Anthem, that's when it's dead. That's when it's dead.
And I feel they're going to string people along with really small pieces of content, and then as soon as they're ready to talk about Dragon Age, they're going to be like, Anthem who? Anthem what? What are you talking about? Oh, well, yeah, no, Dragon Age. Look at Dragon Age right here. That's what we're talking about. I'm telling you, that's what they're going to do, bro.
We'll see. I mean, I look at it from this standpoint. It's like, look, if we got games like this, it's got plenty of life in them as long as the developers work on them.
All right.
Just because you're saying that some of the BioWare people that was working on Anthem is left, we don't know if they fully just left, if they just got their priorities on that, and then they'll come back to help the developers that are working on the game, on the content that they're working on now. You don't know that. Do you know that for a certain?
Check this out. Check this out. Their first theme that they're gonna come out with on for Anthem is gonna be like, it's gonna be called Just Move On. That's what it's gonna be called, and that's what gamers are gonna do. But I have a curveball to this. Yo, shout out to Fail Pyromancer hitting up that super chat. It is good to see you in the chat, brother. He says, "Is Crackdown 3 dead? Even though no one's playing it." No, Crackdown 3 is absolutely dead. I told people I had fun with the campaign. I had fun with the story. I'm not saying that, other people need to have fun with it. I'm saying that I had fun with that game, and I feel like if there was the criticisms for the campaign, I don't feel were absolutely warranted. Now, when it came to the multiplayer, and I've stated this with Crackdown 3's multiplayer, their biggest mistake and the thing that killed that multiplayer was to not have the ability for your Xbox Live party to go in with you from the launch of that game.
Yeah, no, and that they took too long for it. They took way too long. Yeah, if they took a month, then it would have been fine. But they didn't. No, and they took it. They didn't get it until what, January, July. It was like around July, and then so the online is dead. But then it's also somebody else in the chat. They said it because I said this on GRG, was No Man's Sky. You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, but they didn't move on to another project though.
It doesn't matter.
You didn't have those developers working on another game.
You act like EA is a small company.
EA is just a publisher. I'm talking about the developers. I'm talking about BioWare.
But you think you act like EA is just small and just have Rudy Boo people working on just games. They're a huge company. They're a huge conglomerate. What are you talking about?
I think that they don't care about this game anymore, to be really honest with you.
Okay, that's your opinion on it, but I would say that you're wrong, and I give you my opinion on it. I think that you're full of shit.
I got you, brother, but I could be full of shit, but signs are seeding. The signs are kind of going in the full of shit way of things right now. I just want to let you know that.
We'll see. Because we'll see. Because when you're wrong, I'm gonna get your ass with it.
Oh yeah, come with it, brother. Come with it, man.
I'm gonna fire your ass up with it.
You know where I am.
Because I know where you are. I know where you are. But I'm just saying, look,
you got my cell phone number, man. You can track me down.
Oh no, I ain't gonna call you. We're gonna do it live. We're gonna do it live. God damn it.
Don't say something like that while I'm taking a drink, bro, man. I almost spit it out on my computer, man. But with that being said, like I said, I have an interesting curveball here. Now, I know not everybody is believing that Anthem is dead, but it is, all right? So with that being said, I feel like this is a great opportunity for Xbox here, because what I feel they should do, they should inquire about buying this IP. It can't be too much money. Go to EA. I think EA, they have the publishing rights. See if they actually have the rights outright. I mean, they do have, BioWare is a first party developer underneath them. Look into getting this game, buy this IP, and immediately get one of the first party studios working on a full reboot. I think this would be the time to strike. I feel like the iron's hot.
How do you reboot a game that just came out?
Because it's
Like
your
a
game.
sequel?
No, it's your game now. I feel like there was such promise in this game. The environment, the world, and basically what was lacking was the overall content. So when it comes down to it, I feel like this would be a great title for Xbox to pick up from EA. Inquire about the price, because if they're asking like an arm and a leg and a firstborn son, I would say no. If they're calling,
No, for Anthem, I would do it. For Anthem,
I think it would be a great idea. I feel like the iron is hot right now. They got a lot of their developers moving over to Dragon Age. They do have a team working on some content for this game, but I think this would be the perfect time to go in there and inquire about the IP. And I ended with K Mega, so let's start with you on this one, dude. What do you think about this? Do you think it would be a good idea? Do you think the time would be right for Xbox to go in and kind of inquire about how much this IP would be?
Yeah, no, the game isn't dead. So I mean, look, that to me, this is one of them crazy things. I know this is all.
It's hypothetical, but like, dude, if I was running Xbox, I'd be talking to EA like right now, brother.
Well, maybe. I would say once they stop development for the game, then, and if the game didn't go anywhere, then you can, people will know at that point in time, because they'll say something about it, like, look, things have ceased or whatever. But no, I would think, man, pay top dollar for the rights of Anthem. Get that game on your list. That's exactly what Xbox would need, is a game like that. The way that it looks, the way that it plays,
fit right into Game Pass beautifully.
It would fit right into Game Pass. It would be one of those games that just, it's the thing you have the added.
Mega Fail Pyromancer said, give it to the initiative.
Oh. No. I mean, I want the initiative to do out of this world story games. I'll leave the multiplayer. They can build
an awesome story into this IP, brother.
Yeah, but leave the multiplayer. The multiplayer games for like studios like 343 Coalition and Ninja Theory. I want the initiative to do those big story games. So you know what I'm saying. And even if they want to throw a couple of little games that graphically look insane, do that too. But I don't know. Not the initiative. You know what I'm saying. There's so many other studios that Xbox has now that, I mean, hell, if you really think about it, I mean, the rumors about Bungie, might be.
Oh, we're gonna get into that as well, brother. We're gonna get into that. Okay. All right?
So yeah, but that's one of the things. I don't know, man. Like Anthem would be great for Xbox, but I mean, I would love for Xbox to do it in a heartbeat. But like I said, I don't think the game is dead just yet. So I think that game still has a lot of life to it. Just got to bring the content.
I like Failed Pyromancer's idea there with the initiative, because, and if they feel like, the studio's too small to work on multiple projects at once, have Xbox kind of like, be like, dude, we gotta build this studio out. If you want 2 high budget games coming out of this studio, we're gonna need to kind of like increase its size. And I don't think they would have a problem with that, to be really honest with you, because
I would rather, if like EA was actually done with Mass Effect, I would like Mass Effect to go to the initiative, not so much Anthem.
The funny thing about Mass Effect, I know a lot of people have a bunch of really fond memories, but I feel like, and this might be just a me thing, I feel like the name is old, man. I do, and I know that's weird to say
That's a you thing,
when
bro.
I'm a Halo fan. You know what I'm saying? And Halo's
I'm
been around
a
since
Halo fan
OG.
too, but I'm a Halo fan too, but I mean, Mass Effect
I'd
is its
rather have the
own
fresher
type of
Anthem.
universe, though.
I'd rather
Huh?
have the fresher Anthem name than have Mass Effect's name right now. Me personally, man. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I know, I get that, but I mean, just I mean, people would say, I'm sure somebody in the chat already said it, but I mean, because I'm not looking right now, but I'm pretty sure somebody's saying like, "By Halo, that name is old." So, you know what I'm saying. So the thing to me is kind of like, look, I mean, the name of Mass Effect might be old, but it's still Mass Effect.
Hold
It
on,
still has.
no Russian. Do you mean to tell me that there is no possibility in reality right now with the way Anthem is going, with what they said in their blog, that there is no way in this reality like anything like that would happen? Come on, bruh. Come on, man. I don't know. Predator. I was
I'm
gonna.
looking at the chat now. So yep, somebody did say it. But okay, you know what I'm saying, Pyromancer, man, look, the initiative needs a big IP. They're making an IP. You know what I'm saying? Why do they need Anthem? You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. Like, they don't need Anthem. They got enough fantastic minds to work on a game that's a new IP. Let them, like, this is the shit that's tripping me out, right? Like, for the last 3 years, the people have been saying we need
really
Xbox to have new IPs. And what are you talking about? Well, we want them to have Anthem. No, let them make.
Dude, am I the one stating that they need new IPs? I can say whatever the hell I want. I never backed myself into that corner, brother.
Who?
I can say whatever the hell I want, man.
You talking to me?
Yeah.
I'm talking.
I never was out there like championing. Oh man, Xbox.
I think he's
needs
talking
new
about in
IPs.
general and not just you.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
I
no,
wasn't
but I'm
talking
saying
about you.
I can
Why
say
the fuck
whatever
you
I
getting
want, bro.
defensive? What the fuck you getting defensive for?
Listen, don't make me come over there, man.
Hey, man! You come on out here. There's some red clay for
Dude,
your ass.
I'll rent a pickup
red
truck.
clay.
I'll rent a.
Don't get no dirt on your ass. Water can't wash off, boy. Don't do that.
Yo, Pred, I was going to you anyway, man. What do you think about my idea here? Looking at the condition of this IP, I think this can do a reboot, and I think it can do something really awesome with given the time and the right developers. I feel like Xbox should give EA a call and be like, so how much for that Anthem over there? What do you think, bro?
it's nice to have dreams. I mean,
it could happen.
like, I mean, it could, but like the percentage of that is like what? I mean, like you're saying there's a chance. I don't think there's a chance. Like, to be honest, like the ideal is good, but the possibilities are really slim. Like,
Does it make sense though?
It doesn't make sense at all to me. Like,
what?
why would they? Why? Like, I see what you're thinking. Like, oh, they don't have a looter shooter like per se on under their hat. But like, when has Microsoft bought a franchise? I mean, a game like other than Minecraft, they bought the whole company for that.
I was gonna say.
But besides that, when have they ever said, "Hey"?
Well, I don't think EA will sell BioWare like that. If anything, they would break BioWare up and they would send developers to other studios. If it comes down to it, that's what they're known for.
Well, what Microsoft is doing is actually pretty smart. I mean, you're wanting them to buy this game right from the company, where Microsoft is like, no, we'll just buy your developers, and we'll have them come over here and work for our companies and make our own games. Like, so, like, I see where you're kind of going with this, but of all the games that EA has, I don't think Anthem would be the one I'd ask for them to pull over. Like, I would probably do Mass Effect over Anthem, to be honest with you. This is me. It has a huge cult following, and I think like if they're gonna do something like that, and considering that it was on the 360, I believe, the original Xbox, exclusively, I believe. So like, go back that route, and try and get that again because they've already had it. Even like Splinter Cell, but that's Ubisoft. But Anthem, I don't know, man. I think the
game as a service, man.
Now let's put it this way: if Anthem if they had scooped up Anthem like initially, like as a exclusive, right, and for the console at launch or whatever when the game came out, and they scooped it up like the same way they did Splinter Cell, same way they did Mass Effect, and this game was going through these issues, and they wanted it, I would say do it. But since it's multi-plat already, we already know if they even bought it, it would still go on every console. right? It's not going to help them sell anything that they're not going to get out of it. Like, let them fuck it up. You know, why buy it and then like have everybody bash it because the original Anthem sucked so bad? You know, just let them continue to fuck it up, and then it'll be cheaper. You know what I'm saying? So like just keep fucking it up, just screwing it over, and then when they decide they want to get rid of it, then it'd be a cheaper product for Microsoft. But again, I don't think it's ever going to happen. I don't think EA is going to let this go. I remember looking at their investor stuff, and they were like talking about how big Anthem was going to be and all the expectations for it, and they haven't given up on it yet. So that right there is a telltale sign that they're not.
I think they have, to be really honest with you, bro.
I don't think they've given up because they're still talking about it. Right, like it isn't like
Mass BioWare Effect. Is EA's like what? Who? What?
It isn't like Mass Effect how they were like, we're like, it's gonna do something. No, they're still working on it. They're like, they're still like, I think after this next batch of whatever the fuck they're gonna do with the game, if that flops, they're done. They're done. Like they're still playing with it right now. They're still like,
and dude, what they said about the content, they said it's similar to what you've seen, like with the content that's coming down the road.
Why didn't we get that before?
But dude, no, similar to what you've seen them add into content from launch.
Yeah, I mean
that's not good.
There hasn't really been a lot of content.
That's not good, bro.
So like, I'm in the boat with K Mega. It's not dead, but I want to go ahead and put that caveat. Yet, I'm gonna throw that there at the end. Like, I think this next little DLC they put out, whatever the hell they're gonna do, I think that will be the sign of them just saying, all right, let's move the fuck on. Like, I think they're gonna be done with it if this flops, whatever they're doing next. So,
all right,
Microsoft ain't buying the shit. Just go and let that ride.
I mean, I don't know.
They're in the business of buying studios, not games.
Well, if they spend a lot of money on studios, they might want to spend a little less. But
they're going to buy BioWare. They're going to buy BioWare. Yeah, like I mean, if you're going to spend money,
dude, EA will not sell BioWare. Like I said, what they will do is they will dismantle BioWare, but then they will take the developers that are already under contract with EA and they will just ship them to other studios. It's what they've done in the past. I don't see them ever like changing up that way. Or that process that they have done. You have to think
about what comes with BioWare. Like, what if they sold BioWare? They have to get rid of. They have to sell like all their games too, right?
It's a lot of money right there, bro.
I mean, you're looking at Dragon Age. Looking at
I could care less about Dragon Age, to be really honest with you.
Couldn't care less about it. Some people love that game.
I love it.
Some people couldn't care less about Destiny.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. No.
That's a
no, not doing it.
D word in there. Yeah,
I'm not doing it, bro. I'm not.
But yeah, that's a lot of money, man. I don't think that's gonna happen.
All right, well, let's get Crispy involved in here. He's been a little quiet, man. He hasn't even tried to cut anybody off or chime in or whatnot. So, Crispy, what do you think of my idea here? Do you think that it would be a perfect time for Xbox to give EA a call and be like, hey guys, you know that IP you got over there, Anthem, how much you want for it, man? Or am I just living in a dreamland world?
Like, you know what I'm doing right now, Xbox? I'm stretching because it's a stretch, bro.
Oh! It is. I will say it's a little bit of a stretch. I will give you that. But it makes sense. Like if I was the head of Xbox, I would seriously think about doing it right now when the iron's hot and be like, you know what? You don't even have to put out your theme seasonal Santa Claus hat for your Colossus, and you just sell that right over here, and we'll do something with it, man.
Santa, why you gotta always bring Santa? You know, like
that is a supersonic thing, and unfortunately, I have nightmares of hot dogs with Santa hats on them now because of him. But what do you think, bro? Like,
I'll be honest with you. Okay, they kind of made a different game. Like we could all say Anthem's a different game. All right, it's definitely has a different way, a different feel. You know what I mean? So the fact is that Xbox, who says they can't make something by themselves that's similar, since clearly EA screwed this one up, and now people are kind of clamoring. You know what I mean? Kind of everybody was like, even me, I really wanted to feel like I wanted to buy the game. You know what I
I
mean?
really wanted to feel like I wanted to play the game. Like, the gameplay loop is absolutely amazing, but
Well, I played the demo and I liked the feel of, flying around and everything else, but I felt everything was so like, drawn out, like the loading screens and this and that. And this is something that maybe if they waited this game until next generation when there's so much more power
they
involved,
definitely
maybe
should
this
have
game would be
delayed it, man. They definitely should have. Like,
you know.
it almost feels like they only put 18 months into this game before launch. It really does, man.
But who says they can't? Like, nobody knows what's going on with Halo. You never know, dude. I mean, you jump around and fly around in that game,
Dude, if they ever put flying like they do in Anthem in Halo, there would be a revolt so big from the Halo community. Dude, you got to hover in Halo 5 and people or run and hover in Halo 5.
Well, we're not talking about the multiplayer though.
No, dude.
You know what I mean?
Dude, you need. I will introduce you to the Halo community, and then you will be like, oh damn, bro. Damn, bro.
Yeah, but you got to understand something. I'll introduce you to the Gears community, and if they put those abilities in the multiplayer itself, like the regular multiplayer, there would have been a revolt.
So you know what I'm talking about, then.
Yeah, man. but they separated it, and that's all I'm saying to you. You know what I mean? It's just like when they put these open world acts into Gears 5. That's unheard of. Like, everybody could say it's the same game. Hell no, it ain't. All right? What they did there was totally different from any other Gears. Okay? And you can't sit here and say that Halo couldn't have like some kind of aspect of that at some point. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Even if it's just like to kind of like test the waters and see how people feel about like maybe just one part of the game having some kind of aspect like that. Because then you could go and make your own IP. Who says you can't?
Yeah, but people are so fickle for that Halo has running in it now that you see what I'm saying. So
K-Mega knows about this, man.
Yeah. There's a crazy community when
Halo community. Halo is one of my absolute favorite games, and I've met a bunch of awesome people in that community. But the Halo community as a whole is known as one of the most toxic gaming communities out there. Like it's not as bad as like Call of Duty with all the 12-year-olds that for some rhyme or reason want to have sex with my mom, but it's pretty bad, dude. It can get absolutely horrible. And another thing about the Halo community, they're never happy, no matter what. No matter what, they are never happy. It's bad, dude. It's bad. But on that note, guys, unless Crispy, you have any more to add on this, man?
No. Hey, let's see what happens, because it's unfortunate that game has like kind of fallen to the wayside. Like, I was so close to buying it, so close, and I was just
had such promise, man, and what they showed and the roadmap that they put out there. There was supposed to be a cataclysm 90 days after the game released, and it took almost half a year. Like that right there, like they were just playing catch up. I really hope the rumors weren't true on how much time they actually put into full-time development on that game, but I do have to say, like, I gotta lean towards that might be true with what I've seen, man. But let's move on, because we're talking about that. Let's talk about Bungie and Microsoft. And I know Predator's like, man, are we really gonna talk about this? And people have been going out on Twitter. There was one of the leads for Xbox. She's kind of like the leader of the women's gaming initiative in Xbox and stuff like that. Just recently went to Bungie and shared out the picture that she went to Bungie. Not only that, I think one of Bungie's live streams, one of their developers was sitting there with their feet kicked up and they had Xbox sneakers on, and it just seems like Xbox and Bungie are getting really buddy right now. And to me, I think this makes sense for a certain reason, but I gotta ask the panel what they think. And Crispy, I'll go with you, Crispy. Dude, I'm pretty sure you've seen the tweets. I've shared a couple of them. Do you think people are looking a little too deep into this, or do you think that like either Bungie might be working on a new game that might come out on Xbox within the next couple of years? Do you think that there's something brewing here with the business relationship between Bungie and Xbox right now, bro.
I honestly do, only because like they seem so buddy buddy. Like not just like Destiny's been out for a while, and all of a sudden like you're doing live streams with Phil and shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's just a little weird. And I think he's trolling with the sneakers, personally. I think, you know, they're looking for a little funding. They see that all these other developers are like, hey, they'll let you do what you want and they'll fund it. You know what I mean? You want to make Bleeding Edge like Ninja Theory, like people are hating on it, but they had it already in the pipeline.
I can't wait to play that game, bro.
You know, it was already there. Why take it away from them? You know what I mean? And you know, that's what I say about, you know, Insomniac going to Sony. Like, who says that they're going to let them make a Sunset Overdrive? You know what I mean? Probably not, you know, because it's not that banger that they want. And you know, that's what Sony's good at. They'll release those bangers. Well, Microsoft likes to have a wide range portfolio.
There we go.
And got then, it, man. You know, the fact is that we all think of, you know, not everybody wants to play those, you know, single player games. Like, you know, sometimes like plenty of people enjoy Sea of Thieves or whatever it is. But that's the thing. Like, we're overthinking it. We really are. You know, like if it happens, it happens. I mean, it would have to be now.
Hold on, yo, Crispy, you just kind of did like a complete 180 on me. Hold on. First off, I do like to say huge shout out for the chat. Yo, you guys are absolutely awesome. I'm looking down and I'm seeing only 27 thumbs up. Are we only entertaining 27 people right now? What's going on? Can we get a couple more going here? I hope so, man. It's been a really fun show to do for you guys. I hope you guys are being entertained. But Crispy, you did a complete 180. You're like, yeah, I think something's brewing. And then somewhere in the middle of you talking, you're like, yeah, people are looking too far.
Well, I mean, we are overthinking it, are we not? I mean, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. And it seems like it would be, you know, soon, you know. So I don't know, you know, it all signs point that way from what I see. Just the way they're acting with each other. It's very strange.
Yeah, and the one thing is, I know Predator was like, yo, are we really going to talk about it because some guy's sneakers? But you got to remember, when they do live streams like that, everything is put together. You know what I'm saying? Even what the people are wearing and stuff like that, everything is put together. Some of them have a reason why, you know? So that's why I'm not looking at it as like, oh, we're talking about this guy's sneakers. Because it's not just that. So, I don't know, Predator, what do you think, bro?
Coincidence.
Just a dude. I don't believe in coincidence. By the way,
it's like this. Like, let's say like you got a girlfriend, an ex-girlfriend you're really cool with. You get a new girlfriend, and then you break up with that new girlfriend, and you go back to your ex-girlfriend because y'all are good friends. And like it's that newness. That's what's going on right now. They haven't talked. They haven't been friends for a while. They got back together. They're playing games, like, and they're just like they're happy to be around each other again.
They're singing karaoke at the bar while kicking back shots.
They're still trying to figure it out. He's still trying to put the tip back in. He's trying to get a feel for it, and that's all that's happening. Yeah, that's like let me hit that one more time. Remember like 6 years ago we used to date. Remember that shit? And now Bungie's trying to be in the friend zone. Microsoft's trying to get to tap that ass. That's all that's going on.
Wow. Like, and see, yo, Pred, the reason why I think this is happening, right, is if you look at where like Xbox wants to go into the future of gaming, and you look at Bungie without Activision making their Destiny 2 free to play, you know, the entire year one free to play for anybody, even the new worlds that are coming out, even if you don't buy the DLC, you can go in and do public events and stuff like that with people, cross saves, allowing your character to be played on different platforms, bringing your character everything you earned from one platform to any. I feel like those things kind of match up with what Xbox is doing to like move into the future of gaming. And I feel like they have similar ideas of what the future of gaming would be. I think that's why they're kind of like hanging out with each other more. Do you?
I think you'll just get best case scenario. You'll get marketing rights out of the next game,
but no exclusive content because Bungie said no more of that.
Yeah, you'll just get marketing right. I don't think they want to get bought out again. I think they want their freedom to do whatever.
I hope so, man. I hope.
And they're just picking sides. Like they're like, we just came off of this Sony shit. Let's get friends back in with Xbox and when we release our game, we'll give them marketing rights since we gave it to Sony last time. That's basically what it is. So I'm not putting too much into it right now. I mean, against too soon. Like they got Destiny DLC coming out. What's their next game going to be? And how far out are we from that happening?
Dude, I haven't even heard that they're working on anything else.
Exactly.
They were working on something for Tencent though, which I did see in the chat. They're not hooked in with Tencent. It was just for a one game, like one IP thing over in China, I believe. So I think that's where they're hooked in with Tencent, but it's not like an official, like they're under Tencent and they can't do anything without their permission or anything like that.
Typically, don't they just do like more mobile stuff though?
They are
Yeah,
all
they're
over the
all over.
place in China though, because
Yeah, I know
China,
in China.
they are every type of gaming, PC gaming, mobile gaming, console gaming, all of it is blowing up in China right now, man. Like it's absolutely like just gaming in general is huge over there right now. So of course Tencent is kind of like on the top of that heap in terms of publishers putting out games in every area over there in China. So, but all right, so you say Microsoft trying to get the tip in, Bungie's just like, oh, I just want to hang out as friends, and that's the way it's going, right?
Yeah, basically.
All right, so Microsoft getting shot down by Bungie right now is what, but in a nice way is what Predator's saying. So
Let's
K
just be
Mega,
friends. Let's just be friends.
K Mega, what do you think about this, man? Is there anything to look into? Like I said, even down to the guy's sneakers, you got to remember they give people their clothes and everything to wear. Everything is set up in those live streams when you're dealing with developers. So I don't think it was necessarily a coincidence there. But what do you think, bro?
Yeah, no, I just think it's kind of like what Fred said. I mean, he got saying that Microsoft will get the chance to smash a little bit, maybe have marketing rights, and
I love
then
how it
just,
keeps going back to smashing though. This is awesome.
I mean, that's just, what I'm saying, that's just, I mean, shit, that's the better way to get, what I'm saying, talk about it. I don't know, but I got it. I like the way that Fred brought that up. I just don't think it's Xbox is going to buy them or something. It's just, I know that Xbox has been on this tear of getting studios. I think they'll probably get one more, maybe two more studios overall, but then but it's not going to be Bungie. Bungie just got away from Activision, got away from Microsoft and Activision.
Yo, Mega, I think Bungie would lose like all credibility if they went and they signed like under another publisher right now.
I don't think they lose credibility. I just think that they I mean, because business is business. Fuck what you heard. Like, I mean, what I'm saying, if they want to get funded on things like this, now the only thing that I could think of is that they could be working for another IP, maybe some kind of exclusive IP.
Hold on, 1 second. Yo, Christopher Hart saying Bungie liked Sony. Sony was almost absolutely adamant. Sony was the main reason why you didn't have cross saves from the beginning of Destiny 2. Don't act like Bungie liked Sony when Sony was the one reason, one of their key things, one of the key features that they wanted to put into Destiny 2, they could not do it because Sony said no, man.
I'm sure that they like Sony. Sony made them a lot of money. I mean, but the fact of it is, I mean, look, I think if anybody would have the opportunity to get in, would be Microsoft, because of the relationship beforehand, and the fact that they probably have the same thought process when it comes to how online games and what's for the future of gaming, like you said. But I just don't see them going. I don't see them going with another studio. I mean, they just getting their feet wet of going solo. Not having to answer to anybody, just doing the things that they want to do. They already have a popular IP, that will keep them sustained for a while. So therefore, they could make any type of game that they want to. So I don't see why they would want to be around, be under somebody else's umbrella yet again after they've been.
Yeah, I don't see that.
I just don't see it. No, I don't see it at
Mega,
all.
I definitely agree with you on that, because if you remember, they were under Microsoft. They fought to get free from Microsoft, and then just right around the corner, right after that, they went right to Activision and they started making Destiny under Activision. So they break free from Activision. They make a whole bunch of changes to Destiny 2. A lot of things that they wanted to do, but they couldn't because they had to get agreement from their publisher and everything like that.
Right.
They paid to get like the title, the IP. They paid to get that back from Activision as well. I don't see them all of a sudden being like, all right, man, well, now we need another publisher. I think they want.
There's too much red tape.
They want to be on their own. They want to be successful. They want to be able to do what they want to do with their title without anybody kind of looking over their shoulder like, hey, are you thinking about putting that in the game? Yeah, no, I don't think so. No, that's not acceptable right there. And they don't want to listen to anybody else, man. But
no, I think really, if anybody is in the market maybe right now to want to need to get purchased, it would be Remedy. I mean, it's more so than a Bungie. I mean, you've heard the stuff about what's going on with Control and things like that. So I mean, I would be more concerned about what's going on with Remedy than I would be with Destiny going. So I mean, Bungie going somewhere else. It just doesn't make any sense. Not when they just got free.
Yeah, and honestly, I know we've dealt with rumors about Remedy and PlayStation and stuff like that. But if that was really such a sure thing, we would have heard more information by now. So
I'm just saying in the sense of that, Control didn't do well on the PlayStation at all, and it didn't do well at all anywhere. Yeah, so I
still want to play that game though, man.
No, yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I got a lot of love for Remedy, but it's just those things is like they think that the grass is greener always on the other side, and it's usually from what we've been seeing here lately for certain companies, it's not. I mean, just ask about what happened to Titanfall 2.
And dude, and I will say when it comes to Control, I'm sorry to go back to that, but I will say the gameplay on GRG last night even convinced me even more that I need to play that game, bro. I swear.
Yes. It looks really dope, man.
Dude, who was doing the Control gameplay?
That was live. That was Livewire.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Dude, yeah, I definitely I would love if anybody has an extra code lying around anywhere for that game, because I definitely cannot afford it right now. If you have an extra code, you know where to send that, man.
It's just so many games out right now. Yeah, it's just so many games, and that's why I had to. I was like, I had to make a decision. Did I want Greedfall or did I want to get Control?
And you went with Greedfall, right?
I went with Greedfall. So, and I'll just try to see what I can
when it comes to you, man, and seeing the game, and you play all sorts of games, but I can see you playing Greedfall more than Control. To be really honest with you, like the multiplayer aspect in it, I know you like getting in there with your friends, like hacking shit up and stuff like that. So I that makes sense to me that you would pick that over Control.
Oh yeah, Greedfall is dope. I've put in maybe about 4 to 5 hours into it, and it's one of those games where you just got to sit and grind. So it's if you like Dragon Age, the old Dragon Age, like from like 1 and 2.
Well, I saw Funhouse playing Greedfall, and that's what convinced me. Like, oh damn, I could actually have fun with that game, and seeing it definitely looks good, man. I could definitely see you picking that over that. But unless anybody else has any ideas about Bungie and Microsoft, I think it's about time to wrap this sucker up. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, that's fine. I was, I was over here thinking I was gonna put the game down, but shit, I'm over here gaming now. So yeah,
dude, you do that every Saturday though, bro. True. Drinking, playing a game, and
I haven't even start drinking yet.
Oh, see, that's why when the whole the
Anthem we didn't go really at it. Yeah,
we didn't go like 110%. We were more like 95 or so, man.
I say about 85. 90. If I was drinking, it would have been World War III. Anyway.
Well, guys, on that note, again, huge shout out to the chat. I've been watching the chat all night long. You guys have been talking about the topics, been talking about games. It has been absolutely incredible. You guys are a part of this show as much as the panel, and I absolutely love the support. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. It is Saturday night, and like a 40-year-old with a comb over, we got to get those plugs in. And I'm going to start with Mr. Explosion himself, Crispy Bomb. I do know you are on a couple other podcasts. I know you stream on Mixer. You got to let people know about that. And of course, you always got to let them know, where they can go to talk games with you, brother.
Yeah, you can always find me on Twitter at Crispy Bomb. You can also hit me up on Xbox Live, Crispy Bomb 28. I'm on Retro Renegades Tuesday nights and CCC. It's looking like every other Sunday now, something like that. So
I don't know. I just wait for Snaps to say, okay, we're doing a show, and I'm like, all right, let me check the topics real quick.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see. We'll see. I think the next, not this Sunday, next Sunday, I think we might be on for that. So we'll be raring to go and see what great topics we got.
Yeah, no doubt, brother. And yo, shout out to Duke Togo 13. He says, like a man in his 40s with a comb over, it's time to wrap it up. Brother, that was really close. I will give that to you, man. You're like second place on that whole thing. 40-year-old with a comb over, it's time to get those plugs in. And shout out to Christopher Hart. Christopher, I just wanted to let you know, I'm mad at you, bro. Like, I cannot express any type of pleasure playing a game on Twitter without you coming in with some console war bullshit on my threads, yo. Dude, I cannot say a game is good without Christopher Hart coming in and you're like, oh, but Sony and first party and better and console sales and and I'm like, dude, I can't express that I like a game without you coming in and trying to throw some propaganda out there. Dude, I'm mad at you, bro. I'm mad at you.
Damn. Cold blood.
Yeah, I'm just saying, man. I tell the truth, man. And with that being said,
what's going on, bud? What's going on, man?
Dude, check my timeline, check my tweets. Like Christopher.
Oh no, I see Christopher Hart does it to me all the time. I mean, I'm just used to it. I just let him ride, and then there's people that'll usually give him shit for it. It is what it is, man. I mean. I don't know.
Yeah. But then he's getting after my people that follow me that are like, oh yeah, no, Gears 5 is great. And he start commenting on them too. I'm like, dude, calm down. Go play one of your great exclusives for a while.
Anybody that says anything negative about Gears 5 is just not a gamer. That's just saying anything you saying anything negative about Gears 5, you're just not a gamer. You're not. It's just game is not worth. That's just like saying, I mean, on the flip side, you're saying God of War is bad. You're not a gamer. You know what I'm saying? If anybody says that God of War is trash,
I never said it was bad. I said it wasn't for me.
No, games cannot be for you. Like, I mean, we talked about that.
Outros,
Mega's used to us going overtime.
Grown folks are talking. You go ahead and sit back.
Put your old ass down and hush so we can finish these goddamn outros. Then.
Oh my God, kids these days so rude. Anyway, but yeah, no, it is what it is.
It is what it is, bro. So we're gonna go to Predator here. Predator, you know the drill, man. You've been doing this for a while. You are a professional podcaster. Let people know where they could go to talk games and what you have planned throughout the week, bro.
Predator, H2OS on Xbox, PlayStation, Steam,
Grindr,
MySpace, Grindr, Tinder.
Oh, he even said it right.
Pornhub.
Now, if it's Pornhub, you get revenue for that, right?
Yeah. Penis Demon might be on there, but penis Demon. But yep, let me see. Xbox Nation on Wednesdays, Crossfire on Fridays, and of course I'll be back here on Saturday.
Nice, bro. And it is always a blast to have you on Saturday. Like I said, you're part of the starting lineup. You're part of the family, and I appreciate it every week, brother. Every week, man. With that being said, somebody that I might not appreciate every week, but he's a brother of mine, so I can do that. K Mega. You had an awesome show last night. You just need to start tweeting out the link, brother. You can't say we're live and not give anybody something to click on Twitter.
My bad. I know. I'm bad at that shit. I don't promote like I'm supposed to.
I will take you
I've been like that for years.
I will take you to the school of social media. By the time you get out and graduate, you will be a master at promoting and sharing your show. But let people know about GRG. You, of course, your YouTube channel. the videos you're coming out with, and of course, where people can go talk games with you, bro.
Yeah, man, go check out the channel KMega405 on YouTube. Also, usually been doing stuff on the weekends with streaming, and so we'll definitely be streaming something tonight on Mixer. Man, just support everybody that's doing this thing on Next Podcast and on GRG Podcast, and check me out on Twitter at KMega4. And shit, that's it, man. We all good, man. Just keep it gaming. Enjoy gaming, man. That's what I've been doing, and just going to continue to do it.
Nice. And yo, again, huge shout out to Sir X-Man, of course, hitting up the super chat throughout the night. Not only that, one of his final comments is Bungie helping 343 on Halo. They need it. Brother, yo, K-Mac, can we get a cold-blooded for that one, man?
He might get a hit up on Xbox and get cussed out for saying some dumb shit like that. But hey, that's all right.
Yo, Sir X-Man, if you ever want this smoke, I am ready on the golf course. That's all I gotta say.
Like what the hell is he talking about? You know what I'm saying? Sorry, what is it? Man, I can't even talk.
You sure you haven't been drinking, brother?
No, man, I just got thrown off. Like, what the hell is Sir X-Man talking about? In Spartan Lock, we trust. There we go.
Oh, damn. And on that note, guys, it is Saturday night.
Hashtag save Lock, baby.
The gamers got a game.
Loved you saying that. Loved her saying that. That was so great.
Yeah, oh my goodness. Yo, like I said, it's Saturday night. The gamers got a game. We got to get the controllers in our hands. Huge shout out for the community and all the continued support. If you did like the show, definitely hit that thumbs up button. If you haven't subscribed, definitely subscribe. This is the home of the Next Podcast every Saturday at 7 p.m. But not only that, I do gaming news videos, I do live streams, I do a whole bunch of stuff on this channel. You might as well go ahead and subscribe. Subscribe to everybody on this panel. Predator, you got to get a YouTube channel going, man. What's going on? But other than that, I will end the show the way I do every week. We will see you next Saturday for the next podcast. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Later.
That just sounds nasty, man.